This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
A knock on your door in the middle of the night is probably enough to make your stomach drop.
New at 11, that's exactly what several people living in Broad Ripple say happened to them.
RTV6's Graham Hunter shows you why neighbors are concerned and what you should do if this happens to you.
It all started with a knock at the door. But this was no afternoon caller. Each person we talked to said the man came by well after midnight with a story. He said he needed help to take care of a sick family member.
It was kind of a weird story to be woken up to at 2:30 in the morning.
Jimmy Hurley is one of two people I talked to who woke up to the sounds of knocking.
His grandfather had just had a stroke and he needed help getting to where his grandfather was.
Several other people reported similar experiences on social media.
He told me that he just needed help getting there. He didn't really ask for a ride or anything specific.
One man I talked to sent us these pictures of the man standing on his porch.
It's definitely the same guy.
Hurley went to see if he had any cash to help the guy out.
The more and more I thought about it, the more it didn't seem right.
Not having any cash, he asked the man to leave, and he did.
It's just kind of a weird circumstance, and I don't know if he was just looking for a free ride, looking for free money.
Hurley's fiancée shared the experience on social media. That's when they learned they weren't alone.
Not only us, but our neighbors down the street.
A spokeswoman from IMPD told me you shouldn't answer the door to anyone you don't know.
I didn't know if it was a true emergency.
That's why Hurley answered, but if it happened again,
I probably wouldn't open the door.
Police say if you have a surveillance system or another way to get a description if this happens to you, that can be helpful to an investigation.
Hopefully nobody else comes by at 2:30 in the morning asking me for help.
Reporting from the near north side, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Police say if someone comes to your door and you don't feel safe, you can always call them to have an officer check out the situation.
We had a lot of cloudy skies today and all those storms this week. I think some people are begging for some sunshine at this point.
Friday will be our day to get a break, but we've still got some active storms right now. No thunderstorm warnings at this moment, but we've had some reports of trees down in Lawrence County, and then most recently a thunderstorm warning in Jackson. So periods of thunderstorms overnight, severe storm threat on an isolated basis, and flooding potential. This is what the radar looks like now. Northern half of the state, not much happening. We'll go to the southwest, and all of this rain has been moving from southwest to northeast with pockets of heavy rain and stronger storms. There is a flash flood warning in effect. That is in Sullivan County, and this is why some spots have had 5 inches or more of rain today. You can see anywhere to the east of that. Bloomfield over to Bedford into Jackson County, 2 to 4 inches of rain. There's the flash flood warning. Let me show you where the strongest storms are right now. They're southeast of Bloomington, Lake Monroe, headed toward Nashville. Other strong storms from Columbus south to Seymour. Any one of these could have winds of 50 miles per hour, and as well as some small hail and torrential rainfall. We'll be back and talk about specifically what to expect in the morning coming up.
Kevin, we'll see you soon. Pendleton is slowly getting back to normal as tornado cleanup continues. Here's the latest from the Madison County Emergency Management Agency. All South Madison schools will reopen tomorrow. The restrictions in the southwest corner of town, including State Street, have been lifted. Rolling food trucks from the Red Cross and Salvation Army will continue through tomorrow in areas impacted by the storm. And another coordinated volunteer effort will be held tomorrow. Volunteers are asked to gather at Pendleton Christian Church at 10 a.m. 241 people registered to volunteer today, each with their own reason for giving back.
It seems like something that, you know, I should do and be a part of, something bigger than myself.
I'm getting ready to go into the military. I'm joining the Army in July 2nd, and so I just like helping people around. So that's pretty much the main reason why I came out here.
The Emergency Management Agency says if you have any questions or concerns, call 211.
Calling on other cities and communities to help fix Indianapolis roads. It's part of Mayor Joe Hochstadt's latest agenda.
Any solution for Marion County's infrastructure problems must include help from all who routinely use that infrastructure.
At tonight's State of the City address, Mayor Hochstadt proposed creating a regional infrastructure fund. Marion County and the 8 surrounding counties would pay into the fund. The money would then be distributed back out to the counties based on road maintenance needs.
By linking this contribution directly to the way a county's residents use infrastructure across jurisdictional lines, the Regional Infrastructure Fund could provide tens of millions of dollars in new funding without a tax increase.
The proposal has a long way to go before it becomes reality, but it's already facing some backlash. New tonight, Fisher's Mayor Scott Fadness released this statement saying, quote, "I'm perplexed by Mayor Hogsett's proposal that is not consistent with the work the Central Indiana Conference of Elected Officials has been doing collectively over the last year. While I agree that regionalism is important, I believe we need to find a solution that will transcend political seasons and ensure the long-term sustainability of our region." And a bill to help better protect your kids on and around the school bus is Indiana's newest law. Governor Eric Holcomb signed the legislation today. It increases penalties for drivers who do not stop when a school bus stop arm is out. Lawmakers proposed the bill after 3 children were hit and killed at a bus stop in Fulton County. Their parents attended the signing ceremony.
When this happened, my father and I, we were like, what are we going to do? How can we make something so tragic come out positive? Like, I didn't want my children to die in vain. Today proves they didn't die in vain, and my children are in the front saving other kids' lives.
The law also sets up new requirements for school officials to review all bus routes and stops.
Attacked by gunfire while behind the wheel. Police say that's what happened to a driver in Lawrence tonight. Officers were called to 56th Street and Boy Scout Road just after 6 o'clock this evening. They found an 18-year-old with at least 1 gunshot wound behind the wheel of a car that crashed into a pole. He was rushed to the hospital and later died. Witnesses saw 3 other people jump out of a vehicle and run away. Police say they found those passengers and took them in for questioning.
Many drivers no longer feel safe in their own cars after reports of Kia and Hyundai vehicles bursting into flames. Some vehicles have been recalled, but Call 6 Investigates has learned sometimes the recall fix creates new problems. Amanda Hickman drives a 2012 Kia Soul. She received a recall notice in the mail, so she took it in for repairs even though she was not having issues with her car. Technicians replaced the Cadillac converter, and Amanda says since then the car makes a knocking sound. The dashboard is getting hot and the car is losing power. Those are all things the Center for Auto Safety says are usually symptoms before the vehicles catch fire.
Something's got to be done. Like, my car is not wanting to drive. I'm almost getting hit with my 3 kids in the car.
We reached out to Kia about Amanda's vehicle. The company released a statement saying, quote, Consumer Affairs will create a case and reach out to her for additional details and determine what assistance can be provided after reviewing the maintenance and repair history.
New equipment could help save lives on the roads across Indiana. Today, 162 police departments and sheriff's offices received new radar devices to help spot speeding drivers. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute distributed these devices. They are funded by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
All right. You weren't wearing your seatbelt when you rolled onto Shadeland. That's why I stopped you.
You might have noticed more officers on roads across the state lately, and that's because the national Click It or Ticket campaign is underway. And that means law enforcement is searching for people not wearing their seatbelts. RTV6's Stephanie Wade got the chance to ride along with Indiana State Police as they pulled several people over for their own safety.
A grant from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration actually pays law enforcement overtime over this 3-week period to solely focus on passengers not wearing their seatbelts. And tonight, I got to see that in action. It didn't take long.
Any reason for not wearing a seatbelt tonight?
For senior trooper Nick Klinghammer to stop someone for not wearing their seatbelt.
The passenger admitted that she was not wearing a seatbelt, and her explanation was that she was getting ready to put it on. She just has a bad habit of not wearing it.
We actually stopped not 1, not 2.
I don't know if she has it on now, but she didn't when we went by her.
But 3 people in about an hour on Indy's east side.
The reason you got stopped, your seatbelt right here, you're not wearing it. You got to have that seatbelt to buckle in. It's about safety. It's about complying with the law, and we're here to enforce that.
And it wasn't just drivers who didn't have it on, but their passengers too.
This is a citation for failure to wear a seatbelt.
If the passenger's an adult, they'll be cited. But if they're a child, the driver will have to pay. The ticket costs $25. Do you always wear your seatbelt?
Yes.
Why?
Just for safety reasons.
I don't want to go flying out the window.
A simple minor fender bender an injury could have been prevented just by wearing the simple seatbelt.
Last year, during the Click It or Ticket campaign, officers throughout 230 Indiana police agencies worked nearly 29,000 hours of overtime to crack down on people driving without seatbelts. And they wrote 32,000 citations and warnings.
Most times you're involved in a crash, it's within 5 to 10 miles of your house. So hopefully we prevented something here.
If you don't click it, get a ticket.
Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph. And the campaign runs through June 2nd. That's this Sunday. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says in 2017, more than 10,000 people who were killed in crashes were not wearing a seatbelt.
It's deplorable. The school district didn't take it seriously.
Could it happen to your child? Why a central Indiana school district is facing a lawsuit.
And one of the strongest storms right now, producing some hail and torrential rainfall between Columbus and Seymour. Other storms with heavy rain moving from southwest to northeast. Full forecast is next.
And boxes dropped off outside the Humane Society, but they are not full of old books or donations. Why this could have been a life or death situation. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Toyota, let's go places. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
An unexpected discovery in Cass County. Someone left 3 boxes duct taped shut outside the Humane Society facility there. And when workers opened the boxes, they found cats and kittens inside. The shelter says the animals were all scared and very hot. The boxes were found outside the shelter door just out of sight. The animals are all being treated now and will be available for adoption. If you have any information about who might have left the boxes, contact the Cass County Humane Society. Bullied so badly, a Franklin teenager says she attempted suicide several times. Now the girl and her mother are suing the school system. The lawsuit identifies the 14-year-old girl as RN. RN has autism and ADHD. According to the lawsuit filed this month, she endured 4 years of severe and ongoing harassment by classmates. RN says she was teased, kicked, punched, and told she should die. The lawsuit alleges when RN's parents brought up concerns, school administrators and staff said the teen was overreacting and suggested she attend half days or go on homebound.
No one seemed to take it seriously. There were meetings with school administrators up to and including the principal. There were phone calls, there were emails back and forth, and nothing seemed to really get the school's attention, even when she was hospitalized.
We reached out to the Franklin Community School Corporation. The superintendent told us he did not have a comment.
FedEx is consistently ranked one of the best companies to work for by Fortune magazine, and it is looking to hire hundreds of Hoosiers in central Indiana. FedEx Express hopes to add 400 permanent part-time employees to its Indianapolis International Airport facility. You can learn more and apply at a job fair this weekend. It's Saturday from 9:30 to 3:30 at 6311 Airway Drive. For more info, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
You must be the winner.
Hey, we could be looking at an Indy 500 winner of the future. Today, kindergarten students at McCoursville Elementary School participated in the cutest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500. Kids decorated their own cardboard cars. While the winner was not able to kiss the bricks, he did celebrate with a big swig of milk there.
I love how creative some of those cars are, too.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Cute.
You got to think of their potential, because right now they're car owner, driver, and mechanic. And so once you get an expert in each area, they are going to be so
yeah,
good.
That's right.
All right, some of you are listening to the rain outside, and it is heavy, and we've got some lightning as well. I'll meet you right over here. Slight risk for severe storms overnight. There are no warnings right now, no watch, which means we're not expecting any widespread severe weather. Isolated severe thunderstorm warnings possible through the overnight, and heavy rain is a certainty in spots because when it rains, it pours. Large hail and wind, that's a threat, as well as the heavy rainfall where we've already had in spots 2 to 5 inches or more of rain. Heaviest rain has been in Sullivan County and southern portions of Vigo. The good news is you're getting a break right now. Look at this rain, and it's lining up from southwest to northeast from Evansville toward Bedford and Seymour. This will continue to move to the east-northeast northeast just a little bit, and they pulse. They get a little stronger, push severe limits as far as the wind speed and hail size. Right now between Columbus and Seymour, a good thunderstorm. These impacts would be 50-mile-per-hour winds and the localized flooding threat, as well as some hail. From Bloomington to Nashville to Columbus, that will continue to move northeast. What's not happening north of Indy? You're dry for now. I think we'll all have the chance to wake up to thunderstorms. Don't forget, as you're getting ready to drift off to sleep, if you have our Storm Shield app, you can have alerts sent to your phone. If you were to lose power overnight, you'd still get the alarm to your iPhone or Android device, and it is free. Storm Shield app. 1 o'clock in the morning, heaviest rain will be to the south and east of Indianapolis through Bloomington, Nashville, Columbus, on toward Rushville, Connorsville, and Richmond. Additional showers and thunderstorms overnight. Wake up a little complex of thunderstorms in northwest Indiana tomorrow. You'll need the umbrella. Periods of thunderstorms, best way to describe tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the 70s throughout the day. There's a low risk for severe storms tomorrow. The afternoon hours, we'll see pop-up showers and thunderstorms, kind of the last leg of the system as it finally gets pushed to the east. That means our Friday will be dry. Temperatures will be comfortable in the upper 70s. Chance for thunderstorms on Saturday, 40%. Then, when we step into the second half of the weekend, comfortable temperatures, and it begins a trend where we should be able to string several dry days together. I chose a pool setting there because the kids are probably anxious to get out and take advantage of the public pools that are now open, and we'll have the weather to do it with temperatures in the 70s and minimal rain chances until the early part of next week. Forecast overnight, rumbles of thunder, some isolated stronger storms possible. Temperatures in the 70s throughout the 7-day forecast, with one exception. We'll touch 80 next Wednesday.
Thank you, Kevin. Tomorrow is a big day for RTV6. We're celebrating 70 years on the air and working for you in central Indiana. Make sure you join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for our hour-long anniversary special, hosted by former anchors Clyde Lee and Dion Willis. We'll take it back through Indianapolis history and some of the major moments RTV6 broadcast into your home. You'll also hear memories from former and current RTV6 personalities, including our own Derek Thomas.
So tonight we are taking you back into the RTV6 archives to June of 1989, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, Derek gave viewers a look at changes on the horizon for Castleton Square Mall.
The advent of the enclosed mall has revolutionized the way America shops. The mall movement took hold quickly and is now moving into a second phase. Castleton Square wants to be a part of that and is planning a $1.2 million renovation project. A key part of the modernization program will be the addition of Kohl's department store and 5 other specialty shops to the store roster, along with 2 new restaurants. The facelift itself involves the removal of existing ceilings in the center concourse and department store courts in favor of a higher, more open ceiling treatment, which will give rise to a custom lighting system. New decorative paneling will go in, and planners and landscaping concepts will be changed. Another important aspect will be the construction of a permanent entertainment center with a built-in stage. Mall General Manager Steve Cummings says the changes are necessitated by changing lifestyles and the changing Castleton area.
This mall was designed in a different era. It was designed in the early 70s. It was opened in 1972. Malls were designed differently then. They weren't as warm and friendly as we're designing them today. We have a very, very wide type of clientele in this area. We're trying to reach all of those people.
Increased competition from other malls has also spurred the improvement project, and Castleton hopes construction can get underway in August and finish by Thanksgiving. Derek Thomas for the news, Channel 6.
Well, Kohl's is no longer at Castleton Square Mall, and the Sears that served as an anchor store since 1976 closed down last year. Right now, the Department of Metropolitan Development is asking for public input as they study ways to revitalize the 4-mile area around the mall. Public meetings will be held this fall.
Interesting to see how history repeats itself in a way, right?
A little bit.
If you looked closely, there was a hot Sam at Castleton Square in 1989 back there. You'll have to look that up.
Hot Sam.
We'll enjoy that. Yes. Hey, the Colts back in action as they are on the field for another week of workouts. As summer approaches, the work continues, but without a couple of key players at this moment. We'll hear from the coach and one of the other quarterbacks coming up.
Only at Value City Furniture.
Middle of the week, thanks for staying up with us tonight. The Colts have just a couple weeks left of their spring workouts. Then it'll be several weeks more until training camp begins. Quarterback Andrew Luck is out for several more days. A strained calf injury is keeping him sidelined. The Colts, though, have added another experienced QB to their backup plans. The team signed Chad Kelly a couple weeks ago. He worked out at the Colts rookie minicamp at the start of this month. He appeared in just one game for the Broncos last month and dealt with a wrist injury for most of 2017. So nothing is certain for Kelly going forward. But he talked today about nearly fizzing out his NFL career after just 2 seasons in the league.
To sit at home and kind of see those guys last year out there playing on the football field and going from being the first guy in the building to the last guy out, and then now you're sitting at home not doing anything. You know, you're on your time, and it's just like, man, this is wild. So, you know, I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
Meanwhile, the Colts rolled on without Luck. Also, Jack Doyle, Deion Kane, Clayton Gathers still coming back from some sort of injuries. All of them hope to be back by the time training camp starts. Head coach Frank Reich talked today about whether Luck will be back for anything anytime soon.
Yeah, I would anticipate so, but, you know, again, I personally have had that same issue, and it creeps. If you don't let it heal right, if you don't, you know, and then you let it heal, it's fine, you know, but if you start rushing it back and if you start feeling it, it's better to honor it, you know, so that's what we're doing and just playing it safe.
The Colts will have one more week of voluntary workouts next week. Then the team's mandatory minicamp will take place on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. That will be the last time the full group is together until they get to Westfield. As for training camp, those dates have not been announced yet, but it will start sometime in the final week of July. Well, who's ready for some June basketball? Here's the thing. If your team is still playing, you're pretty pumped about it. It's the Warriors and the Raptors, game 1 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night. Golden State's going for the three-peat, but they won't have home court advantage. And they have a different opponent this time. Toronto hosting tomorrow night. The Raptors putting together 4 very impressive wins straight in a row to get past the Bucks. The Warriors, though, had a few extra days off. Both teams practicing today up north. It's the first finals ever for Toronto. It's Golden State's 5th straight. And finally, they won't have to play Cleveland. And fun fact, Steph Curry lived in Toronto when his father Dell played there at the end of his career at the start of the Raptors franchise. RTV6, your home for the NBA Finals. 8:30 tomorrow night, NBA Countdown. The game tips a bit after 9. After we're done, it'll be the news at 11. Game 2 in Toronto will come on Sunday. If you were hoping to catch the Red Bull Air Race at the Speedway this fall, well, you've got a weekend in October freed up now. That's because Red Bull organizers announcing today the series will suspend operations at the end of September. That means the Indy World Championship race scheduled for October is canceled. If you had already bought tickets, Speedway officials tell us you'll be getting an email soon with info about refunds. And the Indians home again tonight. A pair of 6th-inning runs would be enough. It's Jung-Ho Kang continuing his rehab assignment here in Indy. RBI single up the middle, his 3rd ribby during his time with the Tribe. Later, a sac fly from Kevin Kramer would plate another run and a 2-0 Indy winner. They gave up just 4 hits in the game. They'll play Charlotte here again tomorrow night at 7. Time for one more break. Back to wrap the news at 11 next.
That's why the bananas look so good at Meijer.
Heavy rainfall. That's been the story so far this evening. Anywhere from 2 to over 5 inches of rain from Sullivan back towards Seymour and south. Heavy rainfall will push into southeast Indiana. Will continue, though, with some widespread rain overnight. There's the latest flood advisory. Bloomington down to Bedford.
And that'll do it for us here on RTV6 News at 11. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.